Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Rodney Glover. I'm the candidate for governor for Florida. What I wanted to show you is what I'm up against and how well I do against those individuals who actually have the money. So I wanted you guys to have an opportunity to see Strike Forward for FAMU. They did a scorecard on us candidates. Strike Forward for FAMU is a Florida A&M alumni and student advocacy organization. They sent a detailed questionnaire to every declared candidate for governor of Florida, asking each candidate to respond to 5 specific categories that matter to the HBCU community. You guys get an opportunity to see what's kind of going on here. Higher education funding philosophy was 30%, governance, oversight, and institutional stability was 25%, commitment to student access, equity, and opportunity was weighted at 10%. Respect for institutional mission and legacy was weighted at 30%. And the closing statement was weighted at 5%. They scored every response on a 6-point scale. They also conducted an independent assessment of each candidate's governing capability based on public record, political influence, and leadership experience. Something that's really important. The 3 Republican frontrunners did not respond to this survey. That's Byron Donalds, Paul Renner, and Jay Collins. These are the 3 candidates who have raised the most money, received the most media coverage, and are considered the most viable by political insiders. They are also the 3 candidates who did not take the time to answer a single question from a historically Black university community. They did not forget. They made a choice, and that choice tells you exactly who they believe they need to earn their vote from and who they do not. Now let's talk about kind of what these numbers say, because it's really important. On If you look, you're gonna you get to see kind of where everyone scored at. So for respect for institutional mission and legacy, which is weighted at 30% on that category, it says that FAMU students and alumni cared most about the ones they wrote the questions for. I scored an overall B. On respect for institutional mission and legacy, the category weighted at 30% the total score. I scored higher than every other candidate, including the top ranked David Jolly. You can definitely go and look for Strike Forward and get a chance to see every candidate's answers who answered these questions, because it's important for you to know why those questions were answered the way they were. The score has 2 parts. The first part, the survey, measures what the candidate believes and what the candidate would do. I earned a B on that part. The second part, the independent assessment, measures something different. It measures political infrastructure, i.e., we're talking about name recognition, money raised, endorsements, secure endorsement, secure legislative relationships built, and media presence. On that scale, I definitely scored much lower. As you can see, as I scroll down to the area, I scored very low because I do not have that name recognition. I am not trying to take people's money. I did not secure any endorsements, because I've only been asking for endorsements from citizens, and the legislative relationships that are built. I believe that the building needs to be done with the people, not those individuals who we do not control. But I have put that out quite often, and also the media presence, as we know that all of that stuff costs money. So, yeah, I just do what I can to be where I can and put out information where I can. Again, don't forget that the internet itself has more traffic than any of these other places. So reaching out to you and trying to find you on these platforms is the best route to be able to do that. But I definitely wanted you guys to be able to see where I scored well and where I definitely scored low, just so you would know, like, okay, well, this is how that breaks down. My overall score was definitely lowered because I did not have the notoriety. I did not, you know, have those legislative relationships built or that media presence, and I did not, like, secure those endorsements. But the reality is that the low scores reflect the reality of running a grassroots campaign without a party label, without PAC money, and without decades of political relationships. They do not reflect my knowledge, my commitment, or the quality of the answers that I provided to FAMU. Note, because this is important. Byron Donald scored a 5 out of 5 on viability and influence. And that's really something that's important to just look at. He scored a 5 out of 5 on viability and influence, despite never answering a single question from this community. His viability score is based entirely on money and endorsements because that is what the political system rewards. The candidate with the most political power did not answer your questions. The candidate who answered the questions does not yet have the political power. The scorecard did not create the problem. It just reveals what we already know is that money has some very serious influences, and we need to pay attention to that. This is the problem that I wanted you guys to recognize. This is what legislative authority for citizens exists. This is why I'm campaigning to solve this. Right now, political power in Florida is measured by how much money you have raised and how many party insiders have endorsed you. A candidate can ignore an entire university community, score 0 on a substance questionnaire, and still be rated highly valuable because of their fundraising totals. That is not democracy, citizens. That is a system that rewards access to money over accountability to people. Legislative authority for citizens proposes a constitutional mechanism where citizens have direct voting power on legislation. So the question is never again, which candidate do I trust, but instead, what does the law actually say? And do I vote yes or no? The FAMU scorecard is a perfect illustration of why that mechanism is necessary. The community asked the right question. Most of the powerful candidates refused to answer, and the system still considered those candidates the front runners. Citizens deserve better. And that is what I'm here to do. So I hope you took some time, you take some time to look up Strike Forward. You actually go and look at how your candidates answered those questions because it is important just to see. But I wanted to show you, I'm in there. I just don't have the money they have, but the ideas, the policies, the forward momentum of saying that we need to constitutionally make some changes to get control, it resonated with those individuals who asked those questions. And I do appreciate Strike Forward for giving me the opportunity to put this information out. Thank you for your time. You guys have a great afternoon.